Fra, how are you doing today?
I'm very good, buddy. How's it going?
Really, really good. Such a pleasure to talk to you. First of all, how's London? How's all in Cabaret?
All is good, but I'm not exactly in London right now. I
Oh,
actually moved out to the countryside to a wee place in South Oxfordshire with my boyfriend 2020, October 2020. So days before I got Hawkeye. So I ended up like leaving him by himself for a while. But yeah, we've been here and I'm commuting in to London to do the show, staying in London 2 nights just before the 2 show days to make it a wee bit easier. But yeah, it's lovely. I'm fairly shattered, but the show is class. You know, it's an amazing production of a pretty brilliant musical. And yeah, I'm having a blast. It's great.
yeah, because I was in London just last week, and unfortunately the timings just did not align. But I've
Yeah,
heard nothing but incredible things about the
yeah.
production. So
Yeah, it
next
is
time I'm
insane,
over,
and like I take no credit for how brilliant the production is
take
because
take a
they
little
made.
bit, a little
I
bit.
mean, can I like it was lauded with all of its praise and reviews and all of these awards, and then I just sort of stepped into it. And just I'm riding on the wave of its success essentially, which is very nice. But yeah, it's pretty extraordinary. It's pretty extraordinary.
So musicals.
Yeah.
Nice segue, because doing a little bit of a dive on your own IMDb page, your first one is Les Miserables.
Mm.
10-year
Yeah.
anniversary this year.
Is it 10 years? Yeah,
Yeah.
2012. That'd be right. Yeah. God,
Any
that was
outstanding
mental.
memories of that one?
I mean, I will always be very, very thankful to Les Mis. It has sort of been my bread bone, like, you know, from doing the show in London and then the movie which happened as a result of that, which was just such a big stepping stone. I mean, that's where I met Eddie, and that's how we formed this friendship, which is very, very nice to sort of be having a bit of a reunion, passing a ship sort of way with Cabaret. But and you know, and then subsequently, like with the loads of teaching that I've done in between jobs, inevitably sort of is around Les Mis because it's so universal and kids love it and all that stuff. So I've got a lot to be very, very thankful for. I suspect it won't ever leave me alone. You know, it'll always be a part of my life. And it was an amazing year that year. I was understudying Marius and Andras in the West End, and you know, I hadn't been working all that long, and I'd always dreamt about being in the show. I couldn't really believe it, and then I was just in it at the right time for Tom Hooper to be looking for, and Cameron McIntosh to be looking for young men to be in the movie. So there was obviously loads of students to cast, and so it was just the perfect storm, really. And yeah, I reckon it's definitely part of the reason why I'm, you know, still doing what I'm doing, and yeah, I'm very, very, very grateful for it.
Well, I like that was the movie that I guess introduced you to the world in terms of like the big screen entries. But Hawkeye is, I think, the one that really everyone was like, "Who's that? Where's he come from?"
Hold up, Bruno. Who's that?
Who's that now? Who's that bloke? Like, can you talk to us a bit about like how that came about?
I mean, I can sort of see that you're wearing a Marvel t-shirt there. Are you?
See, it's green and Marvel. So
I say okay, yeah. But funnily enough, my meetings were conducted via Zoom for Hawkeye because it was 2020. So my first edition was on a tape, and then I had a meeting with the director and the executive producer, Trintron, and trying to play it really, really cool and saying, so I think this sounds like a really cool character, even though I knew almost nothing about the character because they're so secretive. And at the end of the meeting, once I could feel that it was going very well, and they were all very positive, and then I admitted that I was actually a bit of a freak Marvel fan as well, and could have answered the Zoom call wearing my Spider-Man onesie, but I thought that just might have scared them off a wee bit.
Sure.
But we don't need to know. we can suspect, but sorry, my dog's just here. But yeah, so it was all conducted remotely, and in many ways that was amazing, but also it never made it feel real, so all of a sudden I'm cast in this thing. I didn't really know what the role was or what was required of me. Yes, come on, buddy, it's all right. And I've been told I need to learn sign language and all this. It was quite overwhelming. But then once I flew to Atlanta a matter of weeks later and met all of the team, and everyone there is just a fan of the world as well, so you're just immediately put at ease, like we're just all getting together to have a bit of fun here,
Mm-hmm.
And I had the best time. It was so class. I loved Atlanta. I loved the actors I was working with and the directors and the team, and it was just playtime. It really was. It was great.
Yeah, I spoke to Jeremy and Haley for it, and it was the big thing that stuck out was kind of the working your mind around the fact that you're making this huge Christmas production not in Christmas at all.
Yeah. Well, we started just before Christmas, and we went to New York to do some exterior stuff, and all of so the tree was up and all of the lights, but like literally that was first day of shooting was December 18th or something, and then we're very much not in Christmas for the rest of it, in burn swelteringly hot Atlanta. So yeah, that was funny. I mean, it's a good thing I'm a Christmas fan, because
Yeah.
that would have been a nightmare, for some people. But I'm quite happy to sort of live in a world of Christmas most of the year.
Do you know at all if have there been conversations all about us ever seeing Kazi again?
There have been conversations.
Okay. I love speaking to anyone who works a part of like these productions, because they've all gotten so good at answering the sentence where you're like,
Yeah. No, it's just best to sort of keep your mouth shut before you get into any trouble. I mean, here, like, it was no, everyone's seen the series, anyone who's a fan, and I guess it is completely up to the viewers as to whether they think Kazi is gone or not. Certainly many Marvel characters have survived worse.
That's true. That's true.
What's a mere stab wound to the stomach? He's a tough guy. And I think I may have heard like an ambulance siren in the background, so he may have got on it. Who knows?
Who knows? Well, I guess we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see in due course, absolutely.
And then, like, so looking forward, I remember reading them all individually, but seeing them in a row, I was taken aback by how impressive your upcoming CV is. I'm like, holy shit, he's in so much. Like Rebel Moon, Zack Snyder.
I'm really excited about that. I mean, I just think Zack's so cool. He's such an amazing visionary, and as he's so passionate about what he does, and I love how this has all come to fruition for him. It was initially pitched as an idea for Star Wars, and that universe was pitched to and that team, and when that didn't pan out, and he had subsequently sort of signed a deal with Netflix, he was like, okay, well, let me just make this myself, and he's got very big plans for it. And I think he's always had such a almost cult following of fans, but after Justice League, which was just so brilliant, and for everyone to see his edit of it, which I think reached then an even greater demographic of people, this has just huge potential, and yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really excited to start. Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, like that. Just the pitch for it and everything I've read about it, some of the pre-visuals, I guess, that have kind of gone out already. I was like, ooh, that looks good.
Yeah. I had a meeting with the costume designer, and I was like, "Ooh, that's exciting." She's like, "Oh, I can't wait to wear those." Yeah.
And then, of course, we've got Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Prince Benoit, I believe.
Yes, Prince Benoit. I wonder if he'll ever see the light of day, the poor fella. Yes, I mean that was, I was very, very excited about that, and I'm not entirely sure what's happened. I mean, scheduling is always a thing, but we're unfortunately now in a scenario, and the projects are being cancelled left, right, and center, because I had feared that there did seem to be, although there is such a demand for content, of course, like we're all watching stuff from home. It seemed so jam packed, and I hope Beauty and the Beast isn't one that, you know, slips through the net in forever, but it's certainly been paused for now. But I was very excited with the original, you know, songs by Alan Menken, who did all of the Disney treasury, and so yeah, we'll have to wait and see if that comes to light.
Yeah, because I was looking at the IMDb page for that one as well. It said release date June 2025, and I was like, what? That
Beauty and the Beast?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Right, okay. I had no idea.
And I was like, that's so far away. How?
And also, the month is very, very specific. I have absolutely no idea if that's happening.
Yeah.
No, it was very, very bizarre. I was all set to be shooting that April of this year. Yes, come on, buddy. It's all right. 2 minutes.
Is he okay?
He's all right. Yeah, he just wants me to go outside with him. So we were all ready to start in April of this year, shooting really close to where I live now, which was just a dream scenario. I thinking I was going to be picked up from my lovely wee cottage here and just brought straight back, like just how delightful. And it was a Thursday night, my American agent called me and she said, "We're so sorry, but this isn't going ahead right now." Like, and this is after I'd been announced. A few other the cast members and I had been announced. Rita Ora had been announced like the day before. You know, they're sort of big star. And you know, so I was sort of confused and devastated for about a day. And literally the next day, then I was asked if I would replace Eddie in Cabaret. So it was a bit of a roller coaster of events and emotions, to say the least. But it all worked out for the best, you know, because I'm doing this show which I love, and it's all good.
The movie Beauty and the Beast, it kind of leads nicely into what I'd like to talk about. Is that, like, I remember when that movie came out first, and there was so much conversation around Josh Gad's character. Now, in the years since then, Disney have, in some ways, because I've just seen Lightyear, the new Toy Story spin-off.
Yes, yeah.
Very strong LGBTQ plus representation in that, and you see it here and there with other projects. But I think Beauty and the Beast got the you know, the stiff end of the stick on it, because I think they were like, you haven't done enough. It was just kind of a nod or lip service or something. But
yeah,
I'm curious, like, because you're a part of some of these huge projects now. Do you notice a better representation, a better queer or more queer representation in large productions like that?
I guess those like huge franchises, particularly ones that are you know, maybe aimed at kids, and Disney famously, you know, they're so cautious to. I mean, Disney, when you've famously been making stuff for the sort of middle belt of America, you know, the Bible Belt, as it's called. So it's a big deal to even be having a nod to a gay character. And yeah, I remember hearing that with Beauty and the Beast. So when I watched it, I was like, oh, did I miss something? It's not. Because it could easily be sort of interpreted that he's just really fond of his mate or whatever. It's a bit of a bromance. But my attitude, I don't like to be sort of a glass half empty fella, you know, like I just think baby steps. And you know, I've been talking about this series loads recently, but my mind has been completely blown by this gorgeous little drama on Netflix called Heartstopper. I'm not sure if you've watched it.
Sure
It's
have.
just
Yeah.
so like it's not like it's life-changing writing or anything. The performances are beautiful, but you know, it's just a really sweet teen drama that happens to have two gay lads, or one bisexual, one gay boy, at the center of the romance. You know, everything else about it is a typical teen school story. You know, and I just found it so moving because I'd never seen anything like that on TV. And as a gay man, and I never dreamt of seeing something like that when I was a kid. You know, and if that had been there, I just maybe wouldn't have felt so odd or strange or scared of who I was. Because fear was a huge thing, you know, growing up in Catholic Ireland. And so I hope that is an inspiration to sort of filmmakers and storytellers, that they can actually go a bit further. You know, they don't need to sugarcoat it or make it in some way ambiguous, or, you know, make it easy for the viewer. Like, no, let's just have a gay character and not have it be about their sexuality necessarily, or it doesn't have to be such a tumultuous, complicated, messy issue. It just is, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I was really encouraged by it, and I'm very moved. It was just adorable.
I was speaking to a number of people about this topic because it's something that comes up a lot for me as well, because I am a bisexual man, so I speak to a lot of people about this topic. And I was talking to the cast of Fire Island, which just came out on Disney Plus or Hulu.
Yeah.
There's Bros, which is the big new comedy from Judd Apatow. There's a Kevin Bacon horror movie called They Them, which is about conversion therapy, but it's from Blumhouse, so it's another huge thing. So it does feel like this year in particular, all of the streaming and the production juggernauts are like, okay, we have to do something because it can't just be what it was before.
Yeah.
And it does feel like it is a bit like trying to steer a cruise ship. It's incrementally getting better, but it does appear like that this year is like a watershed moment of everyone has something for all audiences.
Absolutely. Like it's just starting to reflect the world we live in, you know. Even Stranger Things, you know, so there's potentially a couple of the main characters there are queer in some way, and like that's just so amazing when you know how many kids are watching that show. Did you finish? Are you a fan?
Yeah. It's I'm
love it
already
so much.
I'm already very excited for the 2.5 hour finale that's coming in July.
Bring it on.
Booking the day off.
literally. Yeah.
And then for yourself personally, like this year is the first time we will have to have properly celebrated Pride in a number of years because of, you know, lockdown and then even kind of last year people were like, nope, I'm just gonna, you know, give the world some space and some time.
Sure.
But it does feel like this year's Pride has a bit more weight behind it, because people are like, I gotta get out there and I gotta kind of be with my people and celebrate a bit.
Absolutely, yeah. I suspect I will be doing the show whenever Pride is on in London, but I'll hopefully be able to do what I did in previous years when I was working in the West End over the summer, and it's on a Saturday, and in between shows you have like an hour and a half and just go out and immerse myself in the revelry, like maybe have a half pint and just sort of soak it up just the tiniest wee bit. But yeah, Pride for me personally, and again, it sort of harks back to the Irish upbringing. It's a relatively new term, you know, and and that's a sort of embarrassing truth, but it just is, you know. I so much of my life after coming out, well, up until I came out, and then many years after, was more just coming to terms with who I was, and I guess like accepting it. But the idea of actually like being really proud was quite new, you know, because that wasn't something I had been encouraged to think, and I just hadn't, you know. I'd been conditioned so differently, and so its importance is ever greater, you know, every year, you know. And you were all on a journey, and I am extremely proud of who I am. But yeah, it's nice to be reminded each year, you know. So and so, as you say as well, like the fact that we haven't been able to do this together publicly, and with, you know, with such exclaim and pomp and circumstance and all that, it's really important to be able to do that. And I hope people have a fucking great time.
And I'm sure you'll have a great time with your little half.
With my tiny sip of beer before I go off to another show. Yeah.
And just one last question, if that's okay. You were in The Boys from County Hell.
Yeah.
You were in Pixie, which I remember seeing. It was like one of the. I remember like that was peak lockdown. It was like links sent to your laptop.
Totally.
Interviews with the trio, all over Zoom as well, all in their individual homes because no one could go anywhere.
Of course, yeah.
But for like, so you're obviously being pulled away into some huge Hollywood productions, but are you still keeping an eye on local Irish productions? Going, oh yeah, I want to come back and be a part of that.
Oh God, I just think Irish artists are the best storytellers ever. But genuinely, you know, and I think so many people around the world think similarly, you know, and I don't think I'm necessarily biased. You know, we've just got such an amazing culture of storytelling, and then such history that comes with it. You know, my favorite writers are Irish, and yeah, and the filmmakers that I've worked with, you know, Boys from County Hell was just so fun. The lads from Tyrone that actually make that movie, like, are so great. And it's always great to be working at home. Ultimately, you know, it's a wonderful excuse to be back. It tends to be in Belfast. You know, there's so much filming there. So yeah, I'd love to do as much work at home as possible. But yeah, I just think they're very, very good at it. They're really, really good at it. So yeah, bring it on. I'm very proud of the Irish film industry. It's a brilliant thing to talk about whenever you go off and do these jobs in different places. You know, everyone knows what amazing work is being made back at home. That's something to be very proud of, for sure.
Magnificent. Fra, thank you so much.
Happy days, mate. Thanks a million.